All right, Tommy Kendall. We are here with the new 2015 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat, I guess. It's got a very, very long title. So
SRT.
Just
yes.
the SRT, right? The Hellcat, and I've just been driving around for a day, and it is gobs and gobs of power. It's a monster on the street. I love that it's just so muscle car-ish. Like, to me, this is one of the true sort of old school muscle cars that you can buy today. I was just saying that, you know, the Mustangs and things that we used to drive back in the day in the 90s, you know, obviously I got a Fox body, I got a Cobra, and the 03, 04 Cobras had a tough clutch and a clunky shifter, but just gobs of power and lots of noise. This does all of that. This does all of it with more than double the horsepower that we had back then,
I was
right?
going to say, if that was gobs, this is two gobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known about the power level on this car for coming up on a year. And when Ralph Gilles first told me, I was like, no, really? He says, really?
Yeah.
And so I've been walking around with this secret. And when I told my teammate Bomarito, he's like, you're kidding. I said, no. And so when the estimates, it's going to have 600 and something horsepower, I'm like,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's just, it's outrageous and irresponsible. I love it.
707 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, and I drove it down the street the other day and just first gear, second gear, third gear, just spinning the whole tires. I didn't even go anywhere. I just kept going. I'm just like, I can just keep shifting gears. At fourth gear, I was like, I'm just going to let it up and start going home. But it would just tear it up. I feel badly. Someone's going to have to get tires.
I'm pretty sure the $57,000 base price, I'm pretty sure that's about 10 grand below where it should be. I'm pretty sure that the OEMs, I'm pretty sure Pirelli is probably subsidizing the price of this car.
You know, I kind of feel like you need a huge tire budget for this thing. So this one, as it sits, which is gorgeous, by the way, I kind of like not necessarily the flashy colors. They're great for the magazine photos, but this granite and these wheels, it's sort of, I don't know, sort of a bronze, like a matte bronze, which I think is kind of cool. This car, as it sits, is 63,000 and change, but it's an absolute animal.
Well, to put it in perspective, I mean, that all-sport Mustang that I used to race, the full-blown, you know, you had to change the valve springs every 100 miles, had 640 horsepower, 707.
Okay, but this got to weigh 2,000 pounds more.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely some. Now, it's got the biggest front brakes ever. There's a lot of evers on this car.
It's huge Brembos.
It's the most powerful Chrysler vehicle ever. It's the fastest muscle car ever tested by the NHRA. I think 11.2 on these tires and 10.8 on drag radials, and so.
I think I saw that Motor Trend tested the car, and they did 0 to 60 in 3.7, and that's where the second gears start, because you still can't get traction with it, even though it has launch control. So here's a question for you. So this car has the 6-speed transmission. Now, knowing this is more of an awesome street car, there are cars that will handle better, but very few are going to be as much fun stoplight to stoplight. Okay, with the heavy clutch, and for me, I can't really heel toe it because it seems to be too far away. If you take the heel toe away and the heavy clutch, do you get the automatic and the paddle shifters, or do you still get the manual transmission? And, and that pains me to say that because I'm manual transmission all the way.
I mean, it depends on how. I mean, if you're going to drive this car every day, you got to go with the 8-speed. But there's a lot of people that are going to buy this car. It's the first 700 horsepower American production car.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to keep this car forever. They're going to have it in 30, 40 years. You got to have the manual.
Right, because you're never going to get it again. All right, I'm going to pop the hood and let's go take a look at the engine.
Now this is the first full screen shot. Again, I'm nursing my burn.
He's got his Crocs on.
But
no,
anyone who gives me grief, I've got.
Don't believe him.
You want to see the ooze that's coming out of the wound right now?
No,
here's the thing that defends Crocs. All Dan Gurney wears are Crocs.
Yeah. Well,
so Dan Gurney, all he wears is Crocs. TK, Crocs.
All right, I feel
Ignore
like
them and
heckle
at your own peril.
Now you're going to get a box in the mail of like 40 pairs of these goddamn things. You're going to have to wear them all the time.
I love it. These are my shower shoes, actually.
So, what they changed up here, this is kind of badass. The fog lamps are a halo, and this is a ram air induction into the motor, and the scoop that's on the hood is more to just flow air over.
And then extract out under hood temp. Now that's the one thing, there's some other powerful road cars. The one thing that they really worked hard on was cooling, because a lot of modern day cars, well, if you take some cars that have similar to this kind of horsepower on the track, the computers start pulling power out right away because they get too hot. And that's the limiting factor in how much power you can put into a production car, is how much cooling you can have. This car has 46% more cooling, and their benchmark was they wanted to be able to do 10 laps at a track before it started pulling power away. And a lot of big number street cars start pulling power after literally 1, 2, 3 laps on a track hard.
We've seen a lot of the cars like the GT500s and the Corvette 01. They're using TVS 2.3 liter superchargers. This is a Lyshome supercharger. It's 2.4 liters. The engine is 6.2 liters. So they went down in displacement a little bit, I think, just to make it a little more solid compared to the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated engine. But the supercharger whine that you get when you're up in the RPMs is great. And I miss that sound. I miss that sound from like the old Cobras.
That might be where the Hellcat comes from. My niece is a huge Hello Kitty fan. I just got her a Hello Kitty kite. I like Hell Kitty. Hell Kitty is a little more my style.
Yeah.
I might dress up as Hell Kitty for Halloween this year.
You should. You should drive your chicken car around.
Red key.
The red key.
Which is the full power key. There's a black key. Reminds me of that scene in Caddyshack. You know? You got a pool, pond. Pond would be good. Black key would be good for you.
Yeah, pond would be good for you.
But we've got the full horsepower.
All right, you can use the red key.
All business right there, my friends. All business.
That's exactly what this car should sound like.
That's exactly what it should. I mean, they've done a really nice job. I mean, really upgrading, huge bolsters on the seats, new dash. All the Challengers have a redesigned fascia, front and rear. It's funny, I'm getting one of these.
You hear the cops are coming up now. You hear that, right? I'm gonna be like, it's TK, it's here.
That's the soundtrack to this car, is the exhaust and the sirens.
Followed by sirens.
My wife, who's not a car person, long before I ever drove for the Dodge folks, this is the only car ever, this is the only car she's ever singled out. And she does it every time she goes, I really like that car. She doesn't say it, in all the cars I say, oh, do you like that? She goes, nah, I hate that, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. I've never heard her, other than the old vintage SL Benz that I bought her, no car does she like. And so, whereas this car from day one, they just nailed that sort of, modernization of the old icon. And so I told her, honey, last time she said, I said, honey, we're getting one. She goes, and so now she's picky on colors. I like white, and she doesn't like white cars.
Yeah, I do.
So we're probably going to compromise. I think this is the color.
This granite color came out really nice. When you see it, you might not see it on camera, but when you see it, it's got a lot of metallic in it, so it reflects a ton of light.
This is very close to what the Viper race car was before they went to the red and white.
Yeah.
Very close to this color.
Tommy, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. Where can we find you online or social media?
Not on Instagram yet. So,
not on Instagram.
But Tommy Kendall 11 is my Twitter handle, and so that's the best place.
Okay, follow him on Twitter, and you can follow us at CarCastShow.com and on Twitter and Facebook. And until next time, for Tommy Kendall, I'm Motorator Matt, and Adam is not here, but I'm sure he wishes he was. Keep the air in the spare and the bag in the wheel. I'm going to let you use the red key. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm going to let you. You got to hold it down for a second.
Thanks, Dad. I've earned it.
Right, so here's the SRT button, right? This will bring up this interface, and then we can put it in sport or track mode. And then I think you can make the traction control off even more.
Push and hold.
Ding, ding, uh-oh, that's the warning sign, yeah. You're gonna get a ticket and you're paying for it yourself.